Well, here's an intro video, build video, and aftermath video of a Saturn LXS. I believe is what it is, a Saturn LXS. Where do I start? We built this roughly a week. It was supposed to run gut and go, but we ran a 2x2, 2x2, 1/8 inch, two of them welded together. So they told us we had to run with limited weld cars. Limited weld cars were allowed to have 4-inch by 4-inch plates welded on the frame. Much bigger cages, just overall way more built than these cars. This one only made like, I think he said 2 hits. My brother drove this one. So Josiah drove this one. He hit one guy in the front tire. And then someone backed into him, I believe. Messed up his back end a little bit. Just a little bit. These are plastic. But it actually punched the metal. It broke the metal and just punched the metal right in. But then he drove forward and hit the wall. That's what bent this. I actually like how it bent, to be honest. It's like beautifully bent around the corner. I think it buckled the frame a little bit right here. Other than that, it didn't move. But you can see how much room he has for his bumper and the front of his engine. It has a very nice subframe on it. Like, a very nice subframe on it. I don't really care for the setup in here. But from all the aftermath pictures I've ever seen, the struts bend just like a Cavalier. This does not get messed up at all. This one, I know for sure, does burn oil. I think it leaks a little bit of oil too. So we did not build a header for this one because we wanted all the smoke that was coming out the tailpipe to be blowing out the side. We tore the plastic panel off this door, just welded straps on, which we're glad we did because I think somebody backed into this, or they backed into this. It was one or the other. For the cage, we used the same thing that we did for the bumper. Just took 2 pieces of 2x2, welded them solid together. For the doors, post to post, and we just used 1 piece of 2x2 up and across. Fuel setup, just 5-gallon aluminum tank. He's got his main feed coming down. Shut-off switch, fuel filter, pump, back up to his fuel regulator, which then goes to the fuel rail. Then we found out, after he took the tank out, that this car, in fact, does have a fuel regulator at the fuel rail, and it has a return. He didn't think it had a return. So we had to, at last minute, install a return line from the fuel rail all the way back to that T-fitting. So he technically has 2 return lines. Not what I wanted to do, but it worked. They got out there and it ran. The trunk, he just left stock. He ran the wire down through holes on the bottom, up through here. He pushed the spare tire tray up as high as he could. And really and truly, guys, I think, and I wired just around the window pillars. That's all I did, around the window pillars. And I'm pretty sure that's all he did to this car. He ran the tires that were on it when he got it. He did clean up the front a lot, and he did loop it. Like, the whole front end is cleaned up in there. Moved all his wiring to this corner, foamed it up. Yeah, it's still 9-wire tight, so I won't cut it open because it's his car. We left the dash in it. Well, this is a 1995 Saturn LXS. These cars were not equipped with security. These are the #1 stolen cars of 2003. Was a Saturn LXS. I might be saying that part wrong, the LXS. It could be like something else, but I'm pretty sure it's LXS. Yeah. He has a pop-off steering wheel, which he likes because he's a really tall guy, and this is a really small car, so this does help him a lot. But what took him out is his ignition is designed, when it stalls, he has to completely remove the key and put it back in and then start it. It will not start unless he pulls the key out and puts it back in. I don't know if that's just this car or if this is how the make and model it was designed. It could just be his ignition. But he forgot that, and he just kept turning. He was getting nothing. Wasn't even trying to start. Just playing with his shifter. And then he got spun sideways in the track. And he pretty much, at the time, had a fresh car. So he just pulled his stick. And yeah, that was it. After the Derby, he hopped back in it, took the key out, put it back in, fired right up, drove to the trailer. He wasn't too happy about that, but at least he has pretty much a completely fresh car. Other than the bumper being bent a little bit, the trunk getting punched, he really and truly, he'll probably tighten that 9-wire up, and that's probably all the more he'll have to do to his car. All 4 tires get air in it. We had to cut the plastic on the bottom to suck all the glass out. We did leave the plastic. We were hoping it was all going to shatter, go all over the track. As this is on a racetrack, so the racing guys just hate it when we're in there tearing up the track. So, yeah, everybody's in there spinning their tires just to spin their tires. Run around the other side. I will do another video on the Cobalt. Yeah, this side's like untouched. He's got like a crack. That one he got because he sucked the glass out of it. This door's not even touched. It looks like somebody like scuffed him. Nothing on this side. Tire's not touched. Frame straight. That weld did start to pop, I think, when he hit that wall, but it has an aluminum bumper on it, factory. But it has this piece of steel. I don't know if you can see it or not, the way he welded it on there. So like, this is your 2x2 tubing. It stops here. This is all steel that was on their factory. So he welded his bumper on solid to that. And then, I know everybody says that it doesn't do much, but it's got a hefty metal bracket from that piece behind the bumper clear up to the core support. I mean, it is solid. I mean, I'm pretty sure if you hit it with like a pointy bumper on W bar or something, it probably would push it back. But it is, it's something. Like it's not like hollow in the back. It's pretty tough stuff. I know where a wagon of these is sitting actually, so I'm tempted to stop and ask about it. Yeah. His battery box. He literally welded the battery box to the floor. We are done drilling holes and using bolts and shit. We are just literally welding it in. And when we're done with it, we're just going to take the grinder and just cut the welds. Easy peasy. I think he had his battery box in like a minute. Ground is ran to the seatbelt bolt hole. Positive runs up to where the positive cable is, factory. And that is literally all I think to say, guys. We literally just zip tied his roof sign on. Homemade roof sign out of a piece of washer or dryer, one or the other. And it's just, we just pop the holes, put a zip tie in. Like, we're all for simplicity and ease of build. Just a piece of strap for the window bar, which is pretty much our go-to thing now. Yeah, guys, like... Oh, one more cool fact. When he was trying to get his factory steering wheel off, he was yanking on it, and he was throwing himself in his seat as he was yanking on it. He actually broke the springs in the back of his seat to where his seat is sloping downhill really bad. When I sit in it, I'm like 6 inches shorter than him. When I sit in this car, I am literally looking at the gauges. Like, I have to like try to sit up straight and look over the gauges. Luckily, he can look over them just fine. So yeah, guys. Hope this video provided a little bit of insight. I was hoping to see it get beat up just a little bit more because I want to see how it would do. They say these back control arms, I guess the bushings give out or something in them, pretty common. His never got touched, so I cannot vouch for that. But yeah. Thank you guys for watching, and be sure to check out the video on the Cobalt because it ran at the same fair.